Síguenos en nuestras redes sociales, en Twitter e Instagram como @ecoradios y en Facebook como Ecoradio. Ecoradio, otra forma de hacer radio. El mundo entero hace eco, eco, eco en ecoradio.com. Otra forma de hacer radio. Estás escuchando ecoradio.com, la vitrina del talento latino.
As you may know, my name is Jörgen Sjöberg. I'm the owner of Instituto Nordico, a company I founded back in 2007. And we work with quite a few universities in the world, and we focus a lot on the Nordic countries. And today we got a very interesting university here with us called Hanken, which is in Helsinki, in Finland. So here with us is Melina, who is the head of the national recruitment. Am I right, Melina? Finnish, as you can see. He's not that Finnish, actually. Pedro, where are you from?
Hola a todo el mundo, pues mi nombre es Pedro, yo soy colombiano, yo soy caleño, and I'm a student right now at Hanken. So yeah, I'm living here in Helsinki.
Very, very good. Pedro, how is it in Finland at the moment? What has been your experience so far with COVID and everything?
Well, so far the experience living in Finland is amazing, I have to admit. It's really, it's a different world, I will say. Like it's out of our minds, like coming from Colombia. With COVID, it has been, I will say, a tough year or so, in the sense that things are more or less stable, but we have been in a constant lockdown. So it's kind of lockdown and going up and lockdown.
It's some kind of echo there, Pedro. I don't know what happened.
Me neither. It's it now okay.
Yeah, now it's much better. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So technical problems always present. But yeah, so I was telling like this year has been a little bit like the dance, you know, like they mention it. So we have been from lockdowns to a little bit more kind of free, and then lockdown again, and then a little bit more free, and then lockdown. Of course, situation right now is not as bad as other countries. Like cases per week are quite low, so standards are really good. Like we are really safe. People wear the mask in the supermarket, in the public transport. Weather is improving, so of course now we can go outside, and we don't have to be indoors. During winter time, there was a scale peak on a COVID cases, but that's mainly because people, well, when it's minus 20, minus 30 degrees outside, you tend to be indoors for obvious reasons. But now things are quite well, actually. Vaccination is scaling up, and we most likely will be back to normal, I think, at the end of summer. That means in August, I think that the government plans to be back to normal. But
And I think,
yeah.
I think most of the people, quite a few percentage, quite a good percentage of the Finnish people are now vaccinated. Is that right, Natalia?
Yeah, that's correct. Over, I think, if I'm not mistaken in statistics, over 2 million people already in Finland are vaccinated, and in total, there are like 5.5 million people, so almost 50% is already at least vaccinated with the first shot, and a lot of people are already like fully vaccinated. So it's going. It's looking now much more brighter than it did like in the winter or in the end of the autumn last year. So yeah, things are getting to the better side, slowly but surely.
And you've been vaccinated, Natalia?
Not yet, but I have calculated that my age group will come for the vaccination in 2 weeks. So I'm really waiting for that.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
But we haven't. Yeah, we are going to Miami next week because it's difficult to get a vaccine here in Colombia. So we're going to Miami next week to get the Janssen. Because here it's quite slow. So we thought, well, it's better to travel abroad. So looking at Finland, for me, Finland is a very, very interesting destination. Well, I've been to Finland several times. I was born in Sweden, and Swedish people tend to go to Finland in particular on the cruise ships that we got from between Stockholm and Turku or Helsinki. So quite a few Swedish people know Finland because it's very convenient to travel between the countries. That is very good. That's one way of getting to know Finland. Get to know Sweden, like get on a cruise ship, and then you can travel over to the Sweden or Finland. Very, very beautiful. Another thing, what I like with Finland, a very interesting thing about Finland is that you got quite a few saunas in Finland. The last thing I saw that there are about 2 million saunas in Finland. Is that right?
I think that
it's something like that.
Yeah, I think that there are more saunas than houses.
Yes.
In Finland.
Yeah, in some cases, yes.
In some cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for example, many people do have sauna, for example, in their own apartments. But in case you don't have a sauna in your apartment, there is always a building sauna that you can book for like a very, very small fee, and you can use it. You get your own sauna turn once a week, or if you want to, even twice a week. So.
Pedro, have you been in a Finnish sauna yet?
Oh yes, that was quite an experience. I will recall this. That is in my memory. I'm going to tell the story because it's kind of funny. So I just arrived from Colombia. Colombia is quite conservative, like really religious. You tend not to be naked. So you see why they are laughing. So I arrived to Finland, and the next week I went to these old cottages. So the cottages is kind of like these countryside houses, quite small. Some of them are really like off the grid, so they don't have they don't have like running water. They are in the woods, so it's a kind of connecting back to nature in a sense. So I was with a friend, her husband, and her husband dad. I haven't met them before that day, it's like, that's my first day. So I arrived, they picked me up in the car. Hey, nice to meet you, Tero, Hanu, nice to meet you. Okay, time to sauna. And I went to sauna. In Colombia, saunas are different, like they are dry. Usually they don't allow us to do lulu because they think that the machine will break down. But here is quite different. So it's basically, it's like a steam. It's like kind of Turkish bath in a lighter sense, where you steam water on top of the rocks, and the hot rocks will make it will make the steam and the water hot. And so the first thing that they do, there was gender separated, thank God. So and suddenly everyone become naked. And they're like, what should I do? Well, you go there, but you have to do now. I took off my clothes and I went into the sauna with them naked. Yeah, that was my first sauna, and it's stuck in my memory. Yeah, sauna Finland, but it was amazing. Amazing.
We have now scared everyone off.
No.
Yeah, you don't need to get undressed like right upon arrival. It only happened to Pedro.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like you go to the sauna, it's almost 100 degrees. It's really hot, and then you go out, and usually they have a lake or a river or the sea, and then you jump to the sea, and it's quite refreshing. And then you drink a beer, and then you come in, and you do that a couple of times, and it's amazing. I have to say it, like I love it. I don't have a sauna in my place. There is a sauna in the building, and I often rent it and go there.
And and for example, in Sweden, we have a beer. Yeah, we go for a beer in the sauna, and you do the same in Finland.
Yes.
Yeah.
But usually outside. The point is going in, and then you go outside and you drink your beer while you watch the sunset go down, or and then you take a little swim.
And one thing we do in Sweden, I don't know if it's the same thing in Finland, but in Sweden we go out, and when it's winter, we go out and we roll around in the snow.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. You
That's
do the
also
same?
a thing here. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you done that yet, Pedro?
I have done the rolling in the snow.
Oh, okay.
That's or going or standing outside when it's like minus 20 degrees.
Okay.
What I haven't done, and I'm keen of trying to do it, is that they usually open a hole in the lakes or in the sea. Since it's so cold, the sea here gets frozen, so they open a hole, and you go to the sauna, you go outside, and then you dip yourself in the cold, icy water for 1-2 seconds, and then you come back again, and then you go back inside the sauna.
Yeah, I actually was also planning that maybe I will start also winter swimming and also this thing with sauna and then deep into the sea. I have not done it before, but this is something I really would like to try. Melina, maybe you did it.
I actually did my first one. We have the sea because the Helsinki is located right next to the sea, so I live 100 meters from the sea. So what we did during the winter was we actually put our bathrobes on and we walked down to the sea, and there is a public open hole where you can go and swim, and then we came back and we had a warm shower. So I actually did it without a sauna this year.
Oh, that's really great. Cool. Yeah.
Very refreshing.
Absolutely. It was because it's actually warmer to go into the water than it is outside. So when you walk outside, you won't notice the difference. And it will actually feel warm.
Yeah, it's very, very different. So yeah, Pedro, I can imagine that it's been very interesting experience being in Finland so far. In particular, going to the sauna, and I can imagine like you're sitting there with this guy's wife naked, and you a little bit different. I can imagine.
Like I feel that they are my friends for life. You know, like you make like these really deep connections with people when you're naked. I have to admit it. And like of course, like you're not just sitting there like quiet, but you are talking, and then you start talking about, well, they were asking a lot of things about Colombia, where I came from, why I was moving to Finland, why I was here, what were my projects. I was asking them similar questions: where did they work, what they were doing, about the cottages. So it's a good place to talk. Actually, it's like kind of intimate space. And it's something it's something really recommended to have with someone. Like it's a nice experience.
So Pedro, Finland. Why did you go? Why did you go to Finland? Why did you choose Finland as a study destination?
Well, I think that most people can relate in Colombia due to the not only due to the current situation right now, but to our history. So I have to tell you a bit of my background because that explains a lot. So I'm a political scientist. I used to work in the Colombian government for a couple of years, a period of my time, and then I used to work with a company that worked for the Colombian government. So basically, you start seeing a reality that is behind how our system works. It's not about this government, but how the state in general works. And I got tired of the corruption. I got tired of things not working. I got tired that if you want to go to a place like in Bogota or in Cali, like you go to the stop of Transmilenio or El Nio or this, and it says that the bus will come and it never comes. I got tired of things not work in general. So the other side of the coin is these Nordic countries, where at least in our imaginary is that things work here. And like if the bus says it comes in 2 minutes, the bus will arrive in 2 minutes. Like everything works. So basically, I decided to look for this type of countries, and then I found out. Well, I didn't find out there, but Finnish education has the reputation of being, if not the best in the world, one of the best ones in the world. So I say to myself, well, why not Finland, and why not try to look up place here? And I found this amazing program at Hanken. So yeah, that's why basically I'm here.
Oh. So yeah, because I heard that the Finnish education system is one of the best in the world. But that's something. Why? But what I understood is that in Finland when you're high school, you're at high school, you're 7 years old, you don't receive any homework. Is that right? You haven't got any homework until not really right, but
So, comparatively, no. The idea behind school is that it's a part of your life, and you're there to discuss. And then you go to school for the 4 or 5 hours that you do when you're 7, and then you have maybe half an hour or an hour of homework, and the rest is supposed to be spent with your family, where you learn things by just doing instead. And this has built the whole Finnish school system that is very built on a view that everyone is equal, and you provide the same school system to everyone, despite their mother tongue or where in the country they live or what their social background is.
That's also creates like a really big diversity from the very early age at school, because like in the same school can be, I don't know, like children that have like CEO fathers and mothers, and for example, children who have from the families with less income, but they do all go to the same school. They do they learn to cooperate with each other from the very very early stage, and that continues through like all the education system basically. So that's one of the unique things I think about like education in Finland, that it's like very diverse at all stages.
And exactly the same as in Colombia, Pedro, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly the same, like for people from low income families has the same access to people being able to pay a private high quality school. Yeah, that's something that amazed me. Like here you basically everyone receives the same type of education, is the same curriculum, the teachers has the same skills. They are all professionals, they all have master's degrees. It's amazing, and as they mentioned, like I have the case of friends of mine from the university that their fathers are, some of them are CEOs of big companies, and some of them are people that drive the bus, and they go all together to the same school, so they have like the same opportunities to get to the universities, to advance in life. Like the system helps people actually, so that's something amazing.
And here in Colombia, I believe we haven't got children yet. But if I got it right, like when you're 7 years old, you receive a lot of homework. That's what I heard, Pedro. Did you receive a lot of homework when you were about 7 years old?
That was a long time ago. Oh. But well, let's say that you tend to go, like if I can remember when I was at school in Cali, you usually go 8 hours to school, and then you have to spend at least 2-3 hours at home doing the homework, because each subject will give you a little bit of homework and it sums up. So like for Spanish, math, social science, and I don't know, everything again, so it goes. That's a difference. I don't know if the system have changed a little bit. I hope so, but yeah, from that I can remember back in the days.
I think it's pretty much the same. Of course, it depends on the school, but I think it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Another unique, there are many things about Finland that are very, very interesting. Well, one interesting thing that Finland is one of the biggest coffee drinkers in the world. It might not be, the coffee in Finland might not be as good as it is here in Colombia, but you're the biggest coffee drinkers in Finland. Natalia, how many cups of coffee have you got today?
Around maybe 4, sometimes 5. But I think today I did have 4.
And
that's my like middle consumption, so I would say.
And it's quite strong, the coffee in Finland, because in Colombia we've got like something called tinto, which is called more like an American coffee, and it's not that strong. But we're like in Finland, I think, if I got it right, it's quite strong, the coffee. If you compare it with the Colombian coffee, is that right?
I will say yes. But here there's a tradition, I don't know if, like I have seen my friends doing it, is that like if the machine says that you need to put 4 spoons of coffee, they put 1 extra because the machine will take 1. I don't know where it's gonna take it, but they usually take it. So it's a little bit stronger than, not a little bit, quite a lot stronger than usually you will find them. It's quite heavy coffee, but a lot of them mix it with milk or a what is the kauramaito? Is
oat milk. Yeah,
oat milk or so it lowers down a little bit. But yeah, they drink a lot of coffee. Like I only drink 3 per day, and I'm like a baby for them.
So have you increased your coffee consumption being in Finland, Pedro?
At least during the university, yes. Like when I was doing my bachelor's in Colombia, I used to drink a lot of coffee because it was cheap, and I used to have like busy schedules. That's something we need to talk about, like the hours when here classes start compared to universities in Colombia, because there's a way difference. But I used to have a lot of what we call halls in between classes. So I instead of going back home, because it was like an hour and a half of traveling back home and going back to university, I used to stay in the university and just talk with my friends. So I used to buy a coffee, and it cost 1,000 pesos. So I was buying constantly coffee. And here, well, now due to COVID, I have been studying on a distance. So I would say that I'm drinking 3 to 4 cups of coffee a day, and that for me, I'm starting to shake. I don't shake, I shake.
And you, Melina, how many coffee have you got per day?
I'm a weird person. Sometimes I drink 0 for a month, and then sometimes I go up to 12. It really just depends on. Yes, I can. Because this is also a regional thing. My mom is from the north of Finland, and when we used to visit, when we were children, they would give us coffee when we turned 10. And for them, they have coffee with everything. It's a part of having. You take breaks every 1 hour to have coffee. But down here, you have a little less coffee. You usually have 1 or 2 coffee breaks instead of every hour. So it really just depends on where I am at or how dark it is outside.
Very, very interesting. And another unique thing about Finland, you got Santa Claus is from Finland. Is that right?
Yes, this is correct.
Okay.
No arguments.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And no second opinions on that.
Okay. And then you can go and visit Santa Claus. Is it in Rovaniemi? Is that right?
Yeah, in Rovaniemi.
It's right on the line of the polar circle, so where nights can also become completely, so that the whole day is dark or the whole day is light. And that's on the border.
And then you have this very beautiful Aurora Borealis, haven't you? No, this Northern Lights, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's actually, you can only also see that not only up north, sometimes even in Helsinki, like you can get, I think that maybe in 2 years I've seen like Northern Light in Helsinki maybe 2 times or something like that. Of course, it's not so bright and vivid here, but still it's very noticeable.
Oh, amazing. You can be in Helsinki, see the Northern Lights. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh. Have you seen the Northern Lights, Pedro?
Yes, I had the pleasure of seeing the Northern Lights. So I actually went to visit Santa Claus because, of course, he's here. Okay. So you go to Rovaniemi. Fun fact, Rovaniemi is the town where Angry Birds was invented. So they created Angry Birds over there, and they have the Angry Birds Park where you can crush stuff as Angry Birds. So it's a fun fact. And yeah, I went to visit Santa Claus, ride high on the Husky sled, and go and visit some ice hotel, a really nice ice hotel that they build there every winter. And I managed to have a couple of nights of where I could see the auroras. They're amazing. Like they dance and they move. I didn't manage to get like the full intensity, so I couldn't see like the red color, but I got the greens. And there was one night like there was no aurora, but there was not even a single cloud. So there you realize that I was like up north. because the sky is like the stars are completely different than in Colombia. So in Colombia we have like Orion, it's right above us, and here Orion is way in the south, like right in the border. You can barely see it, and you have like the North Star just pointing on top of you. It was really a really good experience. I highly recommend.
Yeah, no, it's very, very different from Colombia. That you can go skiing, you go see the Northern Lights, and I can imagine more unique things about Finland. Melina, what is unique in your opinion about Finland? Why should you go and study in Finland?
Oh, there are so many unique things about Finland.
Okay.
But let's see. About studying in particular, I would say the classroom environment. This sounds very weird to go into the classroom environment when you ask about what's particular about Finland. But the interesting part is that the teachers are a part of the whole studying. So they're not there to be your boss or to explain. But the first thing they will tell you when you go into your university lecture is that you're supposed to question things. You're supposed to be involved in the discussion, because research is not about them finding the truth, but about discussing and developing their research. And even when I went on exchange to Germany, this was very different, because there you have more of an authoritarian teaching method, whereas here we see it as a discussion platform.
A bit different, yeah. And we're looking at Finland. I heard also that you got the highest consumption of ice cream in Finland. That's another unique thing. Any other thing that you think are unique, Natalia, about Finland?
Well, I think that only ice cream is worth coming to study here, because you can get as much ice cream as you want, even when it's minus 30. But I think that a very good thing in Finland is that, like, even if you are very, very, not in Helsinki, like in the very village, everybody will speak English, at least at some point, and you will be understood, and you will never be lost, because Finnish people are very, they might seem very maybe close and very, like from the first sight, but like on the inside, they're like very willing to help you if you ask for help. But if you don't ask, of course, nobody will help you. But what you need to do is ask, and you will be heard, and you will be helped out. So I think that's very, because usually people think that people in the Nordic countries are very, very, like very reserved, and they are not open to new people and so on. But I think that's not true. And also then once you go to sauna with them, then you are like friends for life. Yeah.
Building on that, it's not only about being lost and not finding your way, but if you're in the city, for example, you can go anywhere without having to hesitate. They've done a lot of experiments on, for example, dropping wallets in cities around the world, and Finland turned out top on all wallets having been returned to the police station, because it is very safe and people follow all the rules that exist.
All the rules, yes. And I think, like, in general, it's very, very safe to be. In Finland, you can be whatever you want to be. So you can have any possible opinions, and you will be listened to. So I think in that sense, it's a very, very friendly community, also for newcomers. So and many simple things that we maybe don't think of when we are here. But for example, when you go abroad elsewhere, you just like simply in Finland you can drink tap water everywhere, and it's like a thing that you're so used to, and you never like truly appreciate that, because like, okay, it's here, it's your water and you drink it. But then once you go like even like somewhere to another country in Europe, then okay, you suddenly need to buy your bottle of water, and then once you come back home, you're just like, oh, that's my water, I will drink it here.
Another thing interesting about Finland is you got a lot of lakes. You went under the count the most lakes in the world, or like per looking at the area.
I think it's looking like in the world actually.
You're always close to the water in Finland, pretty much.
Yeah, true. So, for example, like Hanken, we are located like in two cities in Finland, in Helsinki, in the capital, and also in Vasa, which is like on the west coast of Finland. And there you get the sea, and also here in Helsinki you get the sea, and also there are a lot of, for example, like national parks also, like and you're very very close. You can take bus, and maybe in 25 minutes you're like in the middle of the forest. And there are a lot of lakes also in the forest as well. So, and it's like really very accessible for everyone. So
yeah, and another thing we actually don't think about is the one that we call all men's or all people's rights.
Tonight, yeah.
When you mention national parks, when we think about national parks, you're able to go there and you're able to camp there and you're able to camp anywhere. Because there are rules that you're allowed to even pick mushrooms wherever, just as long as you're not disturbing anyone specific. But it makes it very accessible to also see the whole country.
Yeah, that was a point that I was going to mention, that for me that's unique, like this all men's rights. That is like if you're walking on the street and there is a apple tree and you want to eat an apple, you just grab the apple and no one will tell you that that's their apple, even though it's like the tree is in the front yard. Like you can grab the apple. Or there is a lot of berries, like strawberries, lingonberries, blueberries, especially blueberries. Like all the fields become suddenly blueberries fields. So you just can go to the park and pick up the blueberries and eat them. Those are elements that are quite unique here. I have to say they have a unique taste on certain items of food.
What are you now implying?
No, like don't misunderstand. Like they love a lot of salmon. Like the salmon is one of the basics foods, and they love it. And they eat reindeer, and the reindeer is quite tasteful. It's amazing, but they have this salmiakki and licorice and salmiakki candies and things like that. That it's an acquired taste. It's like chontaduro for the bayunos. It's something you need to grow up with that. But they have like the food is quite nice as well.
That's Pedro. That is something I miss in Colombia.
Licorice.
Yeah. I love it.
I miss chontaduro. We need to exchange. I will send you licorice candy, and you will send me chontaduros.
Yeah, perhaps I should do that. We could exchange these things. But no, for me, that's something I miss. Licorice, and my girlfriend hates licorice. I just love it. That's love it. Another thing is that even I got this. Have you got snus in Finland? Like something you haven't got snus? Okay,
No,
that's something I got in Sweden. Snus is something you got tobacco that you put below your lip.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not something
I think that's illegal here, actually.
Yeah, it's actually illegal.
You cannot. but that's a good. Like there is a story behind it. Like Finland has put in itself like the objective of having a whole generation that is not tobacco driven or that addicted to tobacco. So buying tobacco here is really expensive and it's really difficult, and you have to be over 21 or over 18. I'm not sure.
Over 18, but
over 18 to be able to buy it in the supermarket. So like all those rules has been pushing the people not to smoke, and it's the same with liquor. Like it's really expensive to buy alcohol here.
Yeah, you need to go. You need to jump on a ferry and go to Sweden or to Estonia. I think that is what the Swedish people do, at least, because we need to go to. It's called Alko. Is it called in Finland? Alko. And what is Alko, Natalia?
Alko is like the alcohol boutiques here in Finland. So if you want to have wine or maybe, I don't know, beer that is more than 5.5, I think, you need to go there. You can also buy some like very low alcoholic drinks also in supermarkets, but there like the choice is not so big. And if you want to have like really fancy wine or anything like that, then you need to go to Alko. But it's like, as Pedro mentioned, it's like, it's quite expensive to buy the drinks, and but
at the
people
same
still
time,
do that.
it is actually quite positive according to my view, because since it's a monopoly, they buy in all products in huge chunks, which means that the average level priced wine is actually super fantastic wine. There are no low quality wines, so to speak.
Yeah,
that's true. That's also that was a good point.
And I think that if you like to buy something at Alko, when does it open in Finland? Because you got Systembolaget in Sweden, which is pretty much the same thing.
Model.
Yeah, the model. Yeah.
The opening hours are a little more flexible than in Sweden. They open at 9 o'clock and they close at like 8 o'clock. So it's not that strict.
Better than Sweden.
On Saturdays they close a little bit early, like at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
But in Sweden they are really, really strict on the hours of Systembolaget. Yeah.
And so, but we're here with I don't hear you. Natalia got something happened to her.
Yeah, I think she got a technical problem.
Okay.
We'll go and join in soon. There we go.
It's coming in now. Yeah,
Here.
Good. So, well, we're here today with fantastic people. We got Natalia, we got Pedro, we got Melina, and they're all at Hanken. And Hanken is an amazing university when it comes to economics. And looking at employment rate, what is employment rate for someone who has studied at Hanken?
It's actually quite high. It's 96% of our graduates would receive a job offer within the 6 months after the graduation. So this is something that we are really proud of, but it's also something that we are at the Hanken really hard work with. So we ensure that our graduates then present well and going well into the labor market after graduation.
Yeah, and notably the 96% is also employed within their own field. So they
thank you for
find
that.
employment within the business sector and not only employment.
And another thing we had a webinar some weeks ago, and the participants said that they are for working while they were studying, and not like working in a bar or in a hotel or something. They're working in the industry while they're already working in the industry, and they are still studying at Hanken. That is another thing I find amazing.
Yeah, that's my case, for example.
Uh-huh.
So basically, I'm doing the first year of my master's degree at Hanken at the moment, and I got an internship thanks to Hanken in a company here in Finland, in a social enterprise here in Finland, in an impact-driven organization. And after the internship, they offered me a full-time position with them. So I'm now studying and working on the field with them. So you can see how the university helps you to be part of the labor market as well. And they, like, every week we receive newsletters of new openings, new positions that is looking. Every week you can find support, you have mentoring programs, and like they offer you a huge web of support for you to be able to go to the labor market even before getting graduated.
That's amazing. Pretty much like you got your job even before you finished your studies.
Yeah, basically, even before I finished my first semester at Hanken, I got my internship.
Wow. And so what is Hanken School of Economics? And Melina, tell us more about Hanken School of Economics, and like why should someone from Colombia go and study, or from South America? Because I think we've got people listening to a radio program here from different parts of the world at the moment. I heard that someone from Curacao is listening to the radio program, and there might be people from other parts of South America listening as well. So, Melina, why should someone tell us about Hanken? Why should they study at Hanken? What is unique about Hanken?
There are so many things there too. But Hanken is actually founded in 1909. Which makes it one of the oldest business schools in the Nordics, together with Handels in Stockholm. We're actually founded 1 month apart. So there is a lot of focus on research particularly. And we call it being research oriented, which means that all of the teaching is bound into the research. but being one of the oldest business schools, we're also the only standalone business school in Finland. So all of the money that comes to the university from both the state and from private actors goes into research and education on business, which makes us one of the top universities in this field. And we actually have a Triple Crown accreditation, which we are very proud of as well, which showcases that we're among the top 1% of business schools in the whole world.
Oh. And which programs have you got?
Well, this is Natalia's expertise.
Yeah.
Okay.
For international students, we do offer the master's and the PhD program, and the master's then is for 2 years, and PhD is more like an employment already, and it's for 4 years. But as we're School of Economics, then all of our tracks and specializations are connected to marketing, business management, or for example, Pedro, he studied international strategy and sustainability. So, yeah. And I would also add that a part of for example, this triple accreditation, which we are very, very proud of, Hanken is the part of several other networks in the world that allow our students, for example, to go and exchange, and also to not only have experience from Hanken, but also to go elsewhere and get more expertise from other countries. And then go back and finish the degree at Hanken. And also, we actually do have also a double degree with the business school in France. So I like it, almost kind of endless opportunities for the students.
Many opportunities. And Pedro, I know that you were in Denmark for some time,
Yes.
and you know some Swedish, and then and you ended up studying at Hanken. Why?
Yes.
So there are many business schools in the world. Why Hanken?
Well, Hanken has a really good reputation. I managed to get to know a lot of people in Finland. I was living, of course, in Denmark as well before, and a lot of people were on the business sector, and most of them were graduated from Hanken. And then you get to talk to them, and you get to see how they see the world and how they see the problems we are facing and the alternative that they are doing, and how they are orienting their jobs and their companies towards these new ways of doing things that are more sustainable, that are more socially responsible. So you just start getting the notion of that Hanken is quite a place. And then I moved from Denmark to Finland, and here that perception actually grew up. So it was an amazing opportunity, and I have to admit, I at the beginning was a little bit hesitant towards applying to a business school, just a standalone business school, especially because here in Finland, all of the rest are universities. So you have this, at least in our imaginary in Colombia, that a business school is not that wow. You should go to a university, you should be on a big institution. But then I something that Melina told, there is no hierarchy on professors and students. So I basically sent an email to the person that is in charge of my program. He's a wonderful professor. His called is Martin, and I texted him. I have some questions. I am hesitant to apply to a university. Should I be looking for this program or another one? Can we have a coffee? And he replied, yes, of course, just let's meet on Thursday at 3 p.m. in front of Hanken. You can come, we will have a coffee, and we chat. So those things that I feel you don't get in other places, for sure I will never have the chance of meeting the person that was in charge of political science in La Javeriana in Bogota beforehand, that open. So I just got hooked with these ideas, and I apply, and here I am.
Oh. And but Finland is not as cold as people think, because a lot of people think, well, the Nordic countries, well, you got polar bears walking around on the street. That is not really right. I would say, in Finland, well, when it comes to Finland and Sweden and the Nordic countries, they might be a bit colder than Colombia, but it's just use a good jacket. and that's it. I would say. And Pedro, what have you looking at it? What have you seen?
I experience things is different. The weather is different. It's just that I can say like 25, 23 degrees Celsius in Colombia, it's a good weather, or you might be like in Cali, you can feel chill and you most likely will be wearing a sweater or even a jacket. People wear jacket. Yeah, they are crazy, I know. But people wear jacket when it's 22 degrees or 20 degrees. But 23 degrees here feels different. I don't know. Most likely it's because of these huge changes on light. So when it's summertime, it's constant light. So there's no night at all. Like here in Helsinki, sometimes you can see the sunset, but the sun is always up. And so you feel like it's always warming you up and you feel like actually quite good, like Medellin weather, like you can go out, you can be fresh, it's amazing. Winter time is the opposite, so it's dark. So you only have 4 hours of light. 4 or 5 hours of light is tough, I have to admit it. It's really difficult, especially from us that we Colombians are used to 12 hours all year round, where sun comes up 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the afternoon already sunset, 6 sunset is dark. It's really difficult, but it has its charm as well. Like everything is cozy, you're at home, and yeah, you are right. It's matter of jackets and layers. Like it's better to put a layer on top. It's easier than when you are so hot that you take everything and you cannot take anything else that's still warm. So yeah, I would say it's a really good experience to live. Like now that the days are long, and green is coming back again. So all the trees in a matter of 3 days got all the leaves out, and all nature is coming in spring. And now we're facing summer. That we hope it's going to be a really nice warm summer.
And I think the cherry blossom is over. Is that right, Natalia?
Yeah, it's actually, I think, now almost over. The peak was last week, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but the season for cherry blossom is so short, so it's over. But then soon will be this, apple trees will start blooming quite soon. They are also very, very beautiful. And so I just really love that in, like, as Pedro mentioned, like in 3 days, because like maybe also 1 week ago everything was like very like still boring from winter, no leaves and everything like was kind of great and so on. But then like we did have maybe I don't know 3-4 days of sunshine, and then now it all like tulips everywhere and this cherry blossom and soon the apple trees and everything is green and beautiful. And yeah, I think it's very actually, I think that for me, I don't know, maybe I'm just like a strange person, but I like this season change. And I would hate to live in a place where everything is like when it's like always warm or always cold. But I think that it's really beautiful when you get to see all these nature changes. So
yeah, that is very different. And I can imagine that for you, Pedro, has been a quite different experience so far as well.
Yeah, it has been. It has been a complete different experience. Like I was never thought. Like if you ask me 10 years ago if I was gonna live in a country that in summer times can be up to 25, 30 degrees, and then in winter time you have the same but minus, I will tell you, no, you're crazy. I will never move. But now I'm here and I actually enjoy it a lot. Like especially like it's in summertime, for example, when you end up your day, like usually in Colombia at midday is the warmest part of the day. Here is not at midday. I have learned that it's actually around 5 to 6 p.m. in the afternoon evening is when it's warmer. So like you end up whatever you're doing, like job or studying, and then you can go to the beach or to the or park and have some sparkling wine with friends and be outside, and there's gonna be light. So like life it's way different. It goes in another rhythm according to the season. And of course in winter it's cold, but still like the snow is amazing. There's like we have this year was an amazing amount of snow, so you can see people making snowmans, snow fights all around, going like the sea got frozen, so people walk on top of the sea. That's something I was like, whoa, the first time I did it, like walking on top of the sea. It's something quite amazing. Like it's a unique experience, I will say.
Finland got very interesting things and similarities with other Nordic countries as well. So Pedro, what would you like to do in the future? What is your
Well, that's a good question. That's the existential question, I would say. But so far, well, I'm at this stage. I want to keep on studying at Hanken, of course. Like I enjoy a lot my program that I'm doing. I want to take the full advantage of it. There is one element that yeah, the program originally is 2 years, but in Finland you can extend a little bit more, like up to 4 years. I think it's like that by law that you can prolong your studies. So, for example, because now I'm working and studying, so I most likely will prolong the program. I want to take some quite interesting courses that are quite linked with companies, and there's a lot of partnership with organizations. So try to learn in a future, like if you say, like Sweden is calling me as well. So I think I will stay in the Nordics. I already lived in Copenhagen for a couple of years. It's an amazing city. Now I had the chance to live in Uppsala for 6 months, and now I'm looking forward perhaps moving to Stockholm. That it's another amazing city. It has a different vibe, but that's the future. Even though I will be happy if I stay here in Finland. Like life quality is amazing. There is a lot of positive things, like job opportunities are growing up. The economy, it's recovering from not only the pandemic recession, but like they suffer a lot with the Nokia problem, but they came up again, and there's quite steady and strong recovery in that sense. And well, you are connected like to Russia. So for Colombians, this is a tip: we don't have to pay visa to go to Russia. Europeans do, so Colombians can go free to visit St. Petersburg, Moscow, so go and visit them as well. All these things, like it's amazing here. And well, if I manage to get a family here, it's one of the best places in the world for having a family. Like the education, it's amazing. Like the support during the first years, like the how they help the women actually. Like they have a maternity leave up to 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. They have like a certain way of doing it. Even parents now that have also a big chunk of time to be with their kids. So it's a good place to be.
It's a bit different, yeah. So Cesar, algunas preguntas? Yeah, no, it's a very different experience. So, Melina, Natalia, and Pedro, and I think at the end of the program now, Melina, why should they study in Finland at Hanken?
I would say it's a big leap, but it's definitely a leap worth taking because your life will change. And I think it's whether you're planning to go back or staying here, it will be a nice experience to see how life is on this side of the planet. And as a short little commercial, in case you have a background from one of the GBSN schools, you actually have a possibility to also get a super or a GBSN scholarship, which not only covers the tuition fee but also covers the living. So that's worth checking out. And we also have very good scholarships otherwise, so definitely worth looking at in case you want to study for free, so to speak.
And you, Natalia, they're from Russia, have been living in Finland many years. Why do you think Finland is such a unique destination?
I think that Finland unites everything that's like, good, like the diversity, the equality and the quality of life, and also you get to live your life the way you want to have it. You have a balance between your work and your free time. You can be, I don't know, a marketing coordinator on the daytime, but then in the evening you can, I don't know, be like a piano player or something like that, and you get to do these two things equally good, and you have time for both of them. So yeah, I think that's what makes Finland as a country very, very unique. You get to be what you are.
Pedro, algunas palabras en español para nuestros oyentes de Sudamérica.
Sí, claro. Pues, o sea, lo que yo les diría es, más bien, ¿por qué no venirse a Finlandia? Es lo que es la pregunta que me hago, y es básicamente es un país que sí, en nuestro imaginario está muy lejos y es muy apartado, pero es una joya, es una oportunidad de progreso, es una oportunidad de vivir tranquilos, es una oportunidad de crecer como personas, y es una oportunidad de aprender de un modelo muy distinto que nosotros, si no lo vivimos, no lo conocemos, o sea, no sabemos qué es, no nos lo podemos imaginar. Las universidades son súper buenas, hay mucho apoyo a estudiantes, eso es algo que se me olvidó mencionarlo. Las asociaciones de estudiantes los ayudan a uno con vivienda, los ayudan a uno a conseguir trabajo, los ayudan a uno a conocerse, y pues la gente es maravillosa, son muy reservados, pero son muy buenos amigos. Un finlandés amigo es un amigo para toda la vida. Y pues Hanken es una universidad espectacular, los profesores son muy buenos, de muy buena calidad. Tenemos profesores, a mí me ha dado clase profesores que dan clase en Oxford y en MIT, entonces son muy buenos. O sea, en realidad vale la pena.
Genial, Pedro. Pues este fue el programa de nosotros hoy. Y se puede comunicarse con nosotros al teléfono 301-517-6511. También estamos en Instagram, estamos en Facebook. También estamos así. Vamos a subir ese video de este programa que tuvimos hoy a nuestro canal de YouTube. Entonces con los mails, como ahí están la información, cómo contactar a nosotros. Pues Melina, Natalia, Pedro, thanks for being with us here today. It's been a pleasure having you here. And I hope more Colombians would like to go and study in Finland and study at Hanken after this program. Because I think the last day to apply, when is the last day to apply for next year, Natalia?
31st of May. So there are still some 1.5 weeks, and then the studies will begin in August.
In August, okay, yeah. And then you need to do like IELTS 6.5.
Yeah, you need to have an IELTS 6.5. You also need to take a GMAT, a GRE test, and that's the test you need to take.
Very good. So, well, thanks all of you for the program today. Gracias a César de tenernos acá de nuevo. Y eso con eso ya cerramos el programa de hoy. You have a good evening in Finland. In Colombia, it's lunchtime. So hope to see you here again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Thank you. Gracias.
Okay.
Ecoradio.com, otra forma de hacer radio. Síguenos en nuestras redes sociales, en Twitter e Instagram como @Ecoradios y en Facebook como Ecoradio. Ecoradio, otra forma de hacer radio. Ecoradio.com amplía sus fronteras digitales. Por eso te invitamos a que te suscribas a nuestro canal de YouTube Ecoradio, en donde encontrarás los mejores programas, el mejor contenido, y podrás escuchar nuestra señal online www.ecoradio.com, la vitrina del talento latino. El mejor contenido, los mejores programas y la mejor música suenan en www.ecoradio.com. Estás escuchando Ecoradio.com, la vitrina del talento latino. Ecoradio.com, otra forma.